Hey guys, welcome to another episode of A Day in the Life. Basically, what I wanted to go over today, I'm actually heading down to Florida Tracks and Trails again, do some drills with Mike Paxson and I guess whoever else shows up. But I wanted to go over the different types of paint. So you don't have to spend a lot of money on paint for like drill stuff. There's going to be kind of like field paint. Or I would just kind of call it practice paint, really. Kind of that entry-level stuff. So that's going to be kind of like your Empire Heat, GI One Star, Valken Infinity, Valken Fate is sort of creeping up into like that mid-range. But this is all stuff that like it's not going to be super expensive. Usually the field paint, they want to have it where it's something that is going to get out of their rental guns and it's not going to be breaking, it's not too brittle. So it is going to be a little bit thicker of a shell probably, or a little bit harder of a ball. So that's the kind of stuff I like using for drills because first of all it's cheap. As long as it shoots straight, that's the only other issue you can have with like the lower end stuff is that it's not going to be shooting as straight as like the super high end stuff. But if you're just doing kind of target practice or whatever, or even if you're doing drills with somebody, and as long as they're telling you like, hey, you bounced me or whatever, then you're fine. So even like seconds are a good thing too. I actually went over and I bought these. These are seconds from Nelson Paintball, and basically it's just it's a cheap ball. But what it is that seconds are like, if you've seen how paintballs are made, there's basically these two big gel ribbons of the shell, and then the ball comes together, and the paint is inside there, it drops out, and then they have to dry it out and all that stuff. Dry it out / kind of heat it up so that the shell gets hard. Basically, seconds it wasn't round enough, so it didn't pass inspection, or it might not have been, it might have some dimples maybe, stuff like that. But they sell it cheaper. I really hope that makes sense. Basically, it's gonna work decent. I mean, like the last time that I shot this stuff, just doing drills, I think I did have a couple barrel breaks, but it retails online for like $25 or $26 a case. So you can't go wrong with that. Like $26 a case for paint is really good. It is kind of a crapshoot. You don't really know what type you're going to be getting. Now, is that the type of stuff you should use in like a team practice? It depends on who you're practicing against. It kind of goes along the lines of if it's somebody that you already have a good relationship with and they're going to tell you if you bounce them or things like that, then it would be okay. Obviously, for a budget aspect, it is going to be good. The downside is that if you're playing against people that already kind of cheat and they're not going to tell you when you're bouncing them or whatever, then it can kind of be like, it's kind of pointless. It's worth to go up to at least the next step, which is kind of like a mid-range, which is kind of like GI 2-star, Empire Premium, Premium Pink used to be like, that was almost even like tournament grade stuff, but Premium, what's another one? I think Valken Graffiti is in that range. I could be wrong about that. But those types of ball, it's a step up from the low end, like field paint, practice, like drill type paint that I'm talking about in seconds. It's definitely a step up from that. But it's a step below the really high end stuff. So it's still going to have a decently brittle shell. The fill, it's not going to be as thick as like Evil or something like that, but it's still going to be good. I mean, if you are going to have a good practice with somebody, it's worth spending a little bit extra to get that ball because it's not as expensive. It is going to be a little bit pricier than the low end stuff like I had mentioned, but it's going to break a lot more consistently. It's going to shoot straighter, and it's just going to be better for a more conducive practice. Because then you can actually know if your lanes are good. You can actually know, what shots are working or whatever. Whereas with the practice ball or like that low end stuff, if the team isn't telling you that they got bounced, then it's kind of pointless, because then you have no clue if that lane that you did, or that bounce shot that you tried, or that blind shot over the top of a bunker, you don't know if that worked. But again, if you do have people that are willing to do that, then you can feel free to get the lower end stuff and save a little bit of money. But then that leads into the really high end stuff. So like Imperial, Ultra Evil, Evil, let's see, even GI 4-star I would put into that category. This is the type of stuff that you'll see at tournaments. Oh, sorry, Valken Redemption Pro. This is the type of stuff that's going to be at the tournaments in the air-conditioned trucks. It's going to be super brittle, and it has a very, very thick fill. So this is the stuff that you want to use at a tournament. Pretty much everything's going to break. The fill is super thick so that people can't wipe it easily. But it is going to cost a lot more. Now, it's worth it, because if you're going to pay the money to go to a tournament, you want to get the stuff that's breaking best. When the paint companies actually go down to the tournament, they're actually formulating the ball for that type of weather as well. So if it's going to be a little bit more humid, they'll adjust accordingly. If it's going to be colder, they'll adjust accordingly. So there's a lot of science that goes into that as well. But it's definitely the high-end stuff. It's going to be the most expensive stuff, but it's also going to shoot the straightest, be the most consistent from ball to ball. So when you actually bore out the paint, put it down into like a freak kit, or like I use the Inception Stella. I have different backs. I want to find one that matches best for the ball. Something like this, I just use like a 6.9, just because I just need to get it through my barrel, as long as it's shooting pretty straight. But the tournament stuff, because they're a lot more consistent from ball to ball, I can actually go and bore out the paint and see what it is that's going to be best for that event, and what's going to be shooting the straightest, and also it's going to help with bringing that grouping down even tighter, because I have that ball to bore match. That's going to be best for that particular tournament, and it might vary a little bit, but that's going to be your most consistent ball, the most brittle out of all of those, and have the thickest fill. So I hope that helps you guys out, just so that you know the differences between the different types of paint. Now, again, if I'm going to be going and just doing drills, that's why I have my seconds with me. I'm going to be shooting targets and stuff like that, and then when I'm playing against other people, we're going to tell each other afterwards, oh, you bounced me here, or like if I ask somebody, hey, did I bounce you with this, they're going to tell me. Then it moves into the mid-range stuff, so again, like Premium, Empire Premium, GI 2-star, I think it's Valken Graffiti is in that range, but I could be wrong about that, so don't quote me on the Valken stuff. I haven't used a whole lot of Valken, so I don't want you to quote me on that, but yeah, that mid-range stuff, that's the stuff that I would use at like a big practice. It's worth spending a little bit extra money just to make sure that you're getting a good time in, that the ball isn't going to be breaking in your gun or in your barrel or anything like that. You're going to be able to get a straighter shot. You're going to be able to see actually what shots are working because the paint is shooting straighter, all of that. And then, of course, when you actually get to the tournament, you want to spend the money and get the really high-end stuff. Get the stuff that's, first of all, going to be brittle enough that it's breaking on everything, but it's also going to be shooting super straight. So that's going to be your GI Imperial, GI 4-star, Empire Evil, and Ultra Evil, all of that. So I hope that helps you guys out. Before we end off, guys, I did want to give a shout out to Mike's Paintball. Got to go over there and see the new shop. It's really sweet. So if you're in the area in South Florida, be sure to stop by there, or be sure to go regardless to mikespaintball.com and see what's on there, and then go and call and ask for Garrett and say, hey, Greg from How to Play Paintball said to call you, and I can get the How to Play Paintball deal. Tell him what it is that you want, and he'll hook you up. They're great guys over there. Just love playing paintball. They love just having fun playing, and they know their stuff though as well. So super knowledgeable. Like I've said before, it's where I got my start playing, and also where I got like my first electronic gun, well, high-end like tournament gun. So I've known Mike's for a while. But Garrett said that he would be able to hook anybody up that mentions how to play paintball. So be sure to go and take advantage of that. I don't know when it is that he'll stop doing that. Also mention that you like corgis, and maybe you'll get more of a better deal. So I hope that all this helps you guys out. And as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.